Emotional intelligence. Yeah, emotional intelligence and the power of being emotionally intelligent, the connection of emotional intelligence to trading, and then throughout the rest of our lives, of course. And I think, excuse me, sorry, I ate something, so I keep burping. But if we can, how we are in one aspect of our lives is how we are in all of them. And working on emotional intelligence when we're, not only just in trading, but throughout the rest of our day, uh, throughout the rest of our interactions with people, and yeah, we if we're conscious about our emotions, we're going to do better. Basically, what I'm saying is, if we go through our day and we're really conscious about our emotions, then when we are doing other things, when we're trading, we're automatically going to be more emotionally intelligent, more conscious of our emotions. So the key is to work on it not just while trading, in general. It's going to make us a better, more happy, more abundant, more driven, more everything, focused individual. And, of course, this helps with our trading. So my job as a trading coach is to teach those things that make us successful traders. And, you know, 75, 80%, 75% of trading is uh, more than just trading. It's mindset. So anywho, let's get it rolling. Okay, so emotional intelligence, feeling consciously. So, what does it mean to have emotional intelligence? So, first of all, is being highly conscious of our own emotional states, especially negativity, frustration, sadness, some things that can be more subtle. The ability to identify and manage those emotional states, and the ability to identify and manage, well, more identify those emotional states in others. So everyone around us, everything around us is just a mirror of what's inside of us. So as we're able to see those emotions in other people, we can better recognize them in ourselves, and yeah, learn to manage them. Especially with trading, it's so important to be in a neutral headspace, not excited, been that many times, and not down and pissed off and freaking sad, or whatever. Been that many times also. Because when we're in any emotional state, especially the heightened emotions, we tend to make more poor decisions, more irrational decisions. And that's not just trading, that's everything. I mean, kind of obvious. Like, anyway, let's keep it rolling. So, six tactics. I made this slideshow and included six tactics to improve emotional intelligence. And I want to tell you right now, this is going to take time. It's going to take effort, consistent effort, to start to shift these things so that we can just become more dialed in all aspects of our lives, right? So, first things first is to become fluent in emotional language. The ability to name emotions, basically, what it means is the ability to name emotions extremely well, specifically emotions that are similar. So, this example I put feeling sad versus feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes when we feel overwhelmed, we can feel like we're depressed, right? And really, it's just that we need to rest. But inversely, like, we can also genuinely feel sad about something, and those two reactions, emotions, facial expressions are very, very similar. So, also, it's the ability, being fluent in emotional language is the ability to define an emotion and understand what it's trying to say. So, sadness is a feeling of loss of something I care about and helps to clarify what's important to me. Very clear there. Versus overwhelming, like I said, if you feel overwhelmed, it's a sign that probably need to rest and get someone to assist you with your workload or whatever it is you're doing. Or maybe you're overwhelmed with family or overwhelmed with friends or what have you, right? So, um, this is awesome. Like I said, this is always recorded, right? Going to be in the Google Drive. But screenshotting this is really good to see the different types of emotions. Um, I do want to say when it comes down to it, even this is pretty. The reason why this is good and why I have this in the slideshow is to show all the more mild versions of the more intense emotions, right? And so, like here, pensiveness versus sadness and grief, right? And the closer you go into the middle, the more intense the emotion is. In the end, there's only really two emotions, and that's fear and love. And so every one of these is, I think personally is a um, different type of each of those, fear or love. But knowing all the different types and more mild versions of each of these main emotions, these that will allow us to kind of see the emotions in ourselves, see them in others, and assist us in becoming more um, conscious or more what's the word? I can't think of the word for some reason. Fluent in emotional language, um, and seeing what these emotions are saying. So gotta know what they are. Number two. So after you become emotionally intelligent, or you're working at it, you start to recognize these emotions coming up. Name your emotions in third person. So simply by shining our cognitive spotlight on what we're feeling can remarkably diminish the effects. I could say this firsthand. One of the biggest emotions I am working on that I have the most trouble with is anger. And for me, I get so worked up about little things, especially when I'm working on something, working at something, and just like little inconveniences that I feel like waste my time. Um, yeah, so knowing them and recognizing when I feel like, let's say internet's lagging and it's starting to like irk me, or piss me off. I'm trading or something. I'm like right in the middle of trading or in some big trades, and I'm like, I need that internet to be, strong. Naming it, just be like, and just like simply saying, okay, I can feel I'm getting annoyed, and I can feel like annoyed is just a smaller version of anger, and so because of that, like, this is the reason why is this, and what you're doing is you're making it so you're in third person, so it's almost like you're looking at yourself from a different perspective, and by doing that you can see all the different things that are happening in your body, which we'll kind of get into here in a minute, what different emotions do to our bodies. So right here, like I said, name it in third person instead of saying, in my example, I'm angry or I'm annoyed. I'd say Zeller is feeling annoyed because of the internet. And you look at that, and have you ever looked at someone when they get super emotional for no reason, whether it's heightened, anger, sadness, or whatever, and it's kind of like, okay, like you're being dramatic, right? We're able to do that to ourselves, and it assists us in bringing ourselves back to that very neutral emotional state, um, without any, craziness either way. So, number three. So after you've named your emotions in third person, be with them. Okay. So um, this is really starting to like look at them, like I said, kind of step outside of your own body, and feel them out and just and accept them. So if you push emotions away, that causes emotional incontinence. Basically, by pushing them away, or people say shoving them down, you're you're just saving it for later. That's really all it is. Like, emotions don't ever really fully disappear unless we feel them, unless we go through and we feel them out, we experience them. So, uh, noticing them and going through it, and especially in third person, when that diminishes the effect, it doesn't make it as intense. Um, you won't have that emotion held on to. You won't be holding on to that emotion. And we can all think of times in our lives, if we were to just sit for a moment, of where we maybe shoved emotions down, or where something intense was happening and maybe we numbed out, or we left the situation, and we just like wanted to completely avoid it because we were feeling strong emotion instead of just facing it, feeling the emotion going through it, and then getting out. So it takes about 6 seconds for emotion chemicals to be absorbed into the body. So give yourself at least that long. So observe it. So basically just sit out and just be like, yo, Zeller's feeling pissed off. Take a deep breath. What does that look like? Oh, he's cussing at the router right now and at the computer. And, um, give yourself that time. Number four, so to run back through, you started to become emotionally intelligent by just knowing what other emotions there are and using that, Plutchik's wheel of emotions to see what different types of emotions there are, some that we may not be as familiar with or have words for, right? Then we name them in third person. Now we're observing it without trying to fix it. So, really, this is like the next step to observing it. So, when we are feeling those emotions, our body is also having a reaction. And this is an amazing chart. This is actual heat graph. What would you call that? Thermal graph, thermal imaging of human bodies while humans are feeling specific emotions. So in this case, anger, right? Pissed off with that router, right? Blood running to the fist, getting ready to throw fist, right, to punch something. No blood in the legs or the extremities. Don't need that. Nope. You just need to think of the next insult to yell at the computer and fist to punch it, right? So feeling that, like I notice, I'm at a point now where when I'm getting angry, um, I can see, I can feel pressure. I can feel the pressure in my head. Um, and yeah, you could totally, if you look at, you'll have veins popping out and stuff, popping out of your head, right? You can look at pictures of people who are angry and see that. So yeah, what other emotions are there though? Sadness, depression, contempt. Um, are you cold? Do you feel cold all the time? Are you feeling like you need to cover up all the time? So feeling these emotions, feeling the inside of our body is a form of meditation. I actually have a technique with this, and I learned this from Duncan Trussell. He's awesome. I recommend checking out his podcast. Also, the show Midnight Gospel. It's super woke, like cartoon show on Netflix, and each episode is like an animation, um, kind of like Adventure Time. I never really watched it. I've seen a few episodes when I was younger, but it's a podcast, and they're going through on this show in a podcast, and some of them they talk about meditation, some of them they talk about death and going through things like that. Another one talks about different rituals and magic and stuff like that. So like ceremonial type stuff, and it's a real podcast that they then made an animation and they put it to go with the podcast. So it's kind of cool, super cool show. Anyways, back to the technique for meditation and feeling my body. So if you sit and you close your eyes for a moment, start with your hands. And if you just focus on right under your skin, you can, if you focus for a minute, you can feel like a little buzzing almost, like an energy. And um, if you start with your hands, you can feel that like little energy, almost as if your skin is just a suit, like a space suit, and feeling what's under that. And you start with your hands, and then you slowly scan. You after you really can feel that in your hands, that energy force under your skin. You go through the rest of your body, and you'll feel that up your arms, your head, your chest, and your legs, and your butt, and your feet, right? You go all the way through and you just feel that slight buzzing or that energy that's under your skin. That's a powerful form of meditation. And I like to do that when I am looking to feel the emotions of my body, especially. So it assists me to kind of feel that energy, feel that blood flow, and yeah, it's really cool. Brings you super super present, and any emotion that you might have been feeling dissipates hard. It dissipates super super hard. So okay, number five. So this is where it really takes work. Um, I mean, all this is taking work and practice, but this is committal. If you're committing to doing this, this is committing to become better and will ultimately make you a better trader. So first thing is to recognize the patterns when, or in this case, journal the patterns. So after the situation, when you're angry, or just anytime you're calm, maybe tonight, write down in your journal like when. Think of the things that piss you off first, or maybe the things that make you sad, or maybe the things that make you super super excited. We don't always have to just look to work with the negative emotions, because with trading too, when you're doing really, really, really well, it's easy to get caught up in that euphoria and that excitedness. Because I noticed that those few times where I made really good trades, made big trades, I get super, super excited. I'm like, oh wow, I'm really picking this up, and I could do this forever. Wow, this means I could like have unlimited money for the rest of forever. And that's when mistakes happen. Famous last words. So right, journaling out when this happens, I when the internet's lagging, I get pissed off, and I start cussing. Right. So journaling all those situations, do it for each emotion, read them, study them. By doing so, you will notice them in real situations throughout each day, and you can better work with them. You can better shift them. You can bring yourself back to that neutral emotional state, or take a break and come back when you are back at that that neutral level. So notice situations that might cause an emotional response normally, and instead of taking it personally, consider it as data. That's interesting. Oh, wow, you must be really stressed. So, yeah, just as it says, so the internet situation, it's data. Okay, maybe I should have, I'm pissed off because the internet's not working. But then again, maybe I'm a cheap ass and now I've got the cheapest internet that there is, and maybe I need to upgrade, or maybe my router is just trash and I should have bought a good router. I saw it at Walmart. They had the $100 one. I chose to get the $30 one. Well, now you're paying for it, right? So all these situations, they're data. Emotions are just data, and how are you processing that data? So journal your feelings throughout the day. This is the last thing to have, or the last technique practice. So journaling your feelings throughout the day. As you're feeling them, after you're feeling them, you're expressing them, you're getting them out. Today I felt angry because of this, or I made some massively, powerful, I made some good trades, or um, I found $100 bill in the parking lot. It felt so good, feel on top of the world, right? Whatever it is, journaling all that, the good, the bad, the slightly good, slightly bad, and by getting this is pushing us to be familiar. Journal always. Okay, so I have a journal, and I always say, not always say, I need to not manifest that, but I will say I do wish that I journaled more. But I journal about everything from the night before, what I plan on doing the next day, to calculating things out, to when I'm planning my course, to emotions that I'm feeling, to whatever. Journals are so, so, so important. Your journal should become like your best friend almost, and just something that you confide in all the time. But you're getting that self out, and you're getting that stuff out. And as you're writing things, like, it'll make it a lot more clear, and things will click. And especially with emotions, you're able to see them more often. And when you're writing it down, like, oh wow, 10 minutes ago I felt really pissed off because this lady at work freaking stole my lunch, or whatever, right? um, you can see, really, really notice those situations, be conscious of those situations, and start to shift them, and become that super like level, like neutral rock that doesn't budge for anyone or anything. So sometimes we can be feeling multiple emotions, and that's difficult to comprehend in the moment. So journaling will help assist us to, yeah, like this says, be vigilant for all emotions. So, like I just said, emotions are just data. That's all. Boom. Trading and emotional intelligence. Oh, Yeah, I gotta make her that. I did that for the course. So when it comes down to it, what I do with trading, um, yeah. So going through each day, journaling, being consistent with these practices assists me to notice these emotions while trading. So, like I've kind of already mentioned, it can go really both ways with trading. You can either get really excited or you can go the opposite. Get really pissed off, want to take revenge on the market, get depressed, right? You just traded your rent money away, right? All these things are things that can happen. So, we have gone over in the past a proper trading plan. And to me, a proper trading plan and keeping that proper trading plan is so key, so important to mastering our emotional trading or just being logical with our trading. Setting rules, following those rules, that's all how we can keep that those emotions neutral. So what I do, what I have done consistently, and I feel like I'm at a point now where I have to get to a pretty large win to start to feel emotions. It's got to be super, super intense because my goals are just up here. So having goals also, that's another thing. When I think about what I want, what I'm achieving, um, what I'm working towards, like the finances that I get to see to achieve those goals, they're large, they're massive, and so it's easier for me to not get so excited about some really good wins because it's like, yeah, I mean, that's cool, good job, Cody, but like you got a long ways to go. That makes it very easy for me to just be like, okay, let's keep the head down, let's keep it rolling, stay humble. And one thing though that I did really that affected me a lot was getting super like pissed off and wanting to revenge trade. Going through a loss and then right after that loss, just either throwing more money into to another trade or to the same trade to try and make it happen. Force the money. I'm going to show the market, right? And that is super unhealthy, and that's a way to lose money quickly, lose all your money very, very quickly. So what I would do after every big win and big loss, and I don't do it as much, like I said, because I don't see the emotions as much. That's why I say what I did do. But I highly recommend this starting off until you can really feel like, yo, I got my emotions down. I mastered them. What I would do is after every big win or big loss, take a break for minimum 30 minutes to an hour. Or if you're swing trading, take a break for a day or two. I find after I've had a massive, massive week or especially a massive month, that I'll take like 3 to 5 days off. Um, Coaching and stuff, of course, keeps me into the trading. But when I've taken those days off, if I'm trading on on the live stream or whatever, then either I'm trading on my demo account or I am just drawing the trades out on the charts. For the most part now, because my live streams are just Tuesdays and Thursdays, usually I am just trading my regular account at this point. But there had been times where I had either big win or big loss, over a week, and I don't want to mess with real money. So that's imperative. Just congratulate yourself, and when you make a big win and honestly a big loss, like taking a break for a moment and then studying it when you're not feeling the emotion, whether it's feeling super excited or super down, when you're just feeling super neutral, study it. Okay, why did I say you won? What did I do right? Okay, I got in at this point and it worked out well here, blah blah blah, right? Or what did I do wrong? Why did I do that wrong? And why did I feel this emotion, right? So neutrality, but taking a break after a big win or a big loss, that's a big way in trading that we can start to practice and notice that. And then journaling. So you have your trade journal, of course, that you should be keeping track of all your trades, every trade. You're journaling everything, right? Then journaling on an actual writing journal, paper journal, writing out the emotions that you maybe felt and what you feel like you did right and did wrong. So That is all I have for this slideshow. I am going to run through charts though. We still have a good amount of time left in the session, so I'm going to run through some charts. Of course, if there's any questions, as always, go ahead and bring it up. But I think that I will say that I have strong, strong, strong. I don't want to say the word testimony. uh, but strong belief. I have a lot of data to back up the fact that these techniques work, and that being emotionally intelligent will, in fact, make you a better trader. I actually have a book that's life changing, totally changed everything for me in the trading game. So let me share my screen here. Just do the desktop. Okay. So this book, I don't know why I don't have this in the slideshow. So I will be adding it. Pull it up here. It's actually free on YouTube. You can buy it, I'm sure, on Amazon. But YouTube, I did an audiobook version, and I've listened to this book 2 or 3 times now. It's called Trading in the Zone. You can literally, you search it up, second book. It's the second link here. And about 8-hour listen total. And it is a beautiful, wonderful, awesome book. It goes through discipline and winning attitude, how important it is to have the emotional intelligence, how much more important being strong in the mindset with trading how important that is with trading as compared to the technique. And I noticed a massive before and after in my trading with just reading and listening to this book. So Trading in the Zone, 100% recommend. Mark Douglas is a genius. I think he was in the markets for like 30 years before he wrote this book. So highly, highly recommend. I still have a lot of stuff to create, and when it comes to more lessons and teachings that I'm going to put into my full digital course, and those when it comes to mindset, I mean, and those those ideals are going to come from this book, have come from this book. Excuse me, I get a call. Sorry about that. So I definitely recommend starting that. What I would do actually, so if you're spending an hour or two trading each day, is I would just listen to this while I'm trading, and that's a good way to get through it. But it's a great listen, and I'm sure some of you probably are better with reading, actual like paper book. So do that too. But whatever works for you. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and run through some charts, kind of see what we see. I've been heavy in crypto as of late. It's just been doing extremely well. I'm anticipating a lot. I've been doing really well. I'm excited to see Bitcoin do its thing here as it's been getting started. So I just want to run through a few charts to kind of show you what I see. I actually, first things first, I want to go to GBP JPY because I just made this trade call yesterday in the rising during the live stream. Yeah, beautiful trade. So easily can move the stop loss up. I have not moved my stop loss yet. Actually, this is the first time I'm checking out the trade since yesterday. So let me show you kind of what I see and why I made this decision. Let's pop back here. Okay, so we can actually start here. I want to start on the 4-hour because when I had gotten into it, I want to see the actual time. So at 10 p.m. we were TC. So it was like right here. 22, yeah. Boom. So like right around here is where we got into the trade. And I think actually this candlestick had printed. Maybe, maybe not. Let me do a rewind though. I'm going to go to the hourly. Boom. Let's go here. Let's go to a 1-hour chart. Okay, beautiful. So if we draw it out, let me go back to the daily actually. We draw a support and resistance, and I drew these lines or these levels based off of price history. And remember, support and resistance is a range, not an exact number. And the best way to draw is just look at the tops and the bottoms And I haven't drawn, I didn't have them all drawn down here. I did in the past. But since the price is around this level, I only needed it for the levels that I'm trading at. So, and I even see some other levels that I didn't touch. So like, let me just draw one more now that I see, because it looks like we're about at that level. And I drew that because of this top here. Um, didn't mess with it here. It was support right there as well. You can see it was kind of messed with it around this level. And looks like we're at it right now. A little bit slight resistance. So a couple things. So on the daily, first of all, we've already been in a strong uptrend. So number one. Number two, we did break down below the moving average, but see how we bounced right back up. And the movement of these two daily candles, it engulfed the movement of the bearish, or this little bearish movement, right? So we got bullish, bearish, right? And then this little one right here, bullish, and this was bearish. And then the bullish movement where the body closed above the whole movement here. So plus this last one was engulfing also. So because that looked really good, we go down to the 4 hour, and it looks like it's like right around here. It's hard to say exactly, but it's like right around here where I think this is the first, yeah, right here. This is that, bullish and then bearish. And then that bullish move that engulfed, this one specifically engulfed that movement here. Not only that, but when the movement happened, we had we closed outside of the band, came down, and we retested. Now, we didn't retest the moving average, but we did retest this support and resistance level, which was a level here. We drew it initially because of this top and also the resistance here. So two levels where it was resistance, here where it was support, here where it was support. Even though we broke back under it, we came back, we retested it, and heading on up. So right there, that was a beautiful sign. That break above this would be resistance in this case, but that break above this resistance line, and then the retest of it afterwards tells us, okay, this is strong. Not only was it a retest with this wick, but then we got the engulfing candle where the body was bigger than the previous candle body. And that right there to me was the entry. And then where I put the stop loss is, we're looking to put a stop loss. We want to put our stop loss in a position where our trade will be invalidated. Where in this case, I am anticipating it to go up. So if it were to go down, what has to happen? Well, in this case, we're in the uptrend, right? Well, what broke the uptrend? We were getting lows, higher highs. So kind of like a stair step thing, right? And then what changed that? Well, we had this one stair step downward right here. This changed that. And even though we got a retest here, it was just some sideways action. We still got downward action. We're kind of in this downward stair step, right? Just the opposite. So what changed that? Well, we had our low, and then we had a new high, which broke the last one, the last stair step down. We then had a new low, higher low as compared to the last one, and moved on upward. So as soon as this candle closed right here, that's a sign, okay, we are heading up, right? So we did hit this resistance level here, and we might want to have waited to get in until there. But I saw the daily, and I'm like, okay, that's going to happen. Like it totally looks like it's going to go up. Now, why this level? So, okay, we see why we're going to get in because we closed on the daily above the moving average. On the 4 hour, we got a retest. Or in both levels, we got a retest, though that's more clearly visible on the 4 hour chart. And why? Okay, so we can see that we're going to head upward, but why that level? Well, it just simply goes back to support and resistance. So 153.845 is the last. Let me go right here. I know it's confusing because I got this larger line up here. That's 156. 153 is the target. And if we see where we had busted through, okay, so I will say that, let me go forward. I was confusing myself. I'm like, wait, where are all the candlesticks? But I forgot I rewinded it. So I'm going to go forward just a little bit so I can show you what I am seeing here. So the smart thing to do I just kind of saw it and I saw the retest of this. I'm like, yeah, definitely going to happen. And the fact that we tested that level last time, what I mean by that level, we tested this level last time we came up and we broke above it. To me, the next time we test it, it's going to be weaker and it's not going to hold. So, okay, here on the 1 hour. So as soon as we see that, it breaks through. So you can play it safe and you can wait till we break resistance and then retest it again to then plan for the next level. But I just saw it. Like I said, I've seen this before, so it looked really good to me. But right there, I want to say, so on this 1 hour here, pause it. Yeah. On this 1 hour here, look at how we broke above, and then immediately after, that was our retest. So to me, even though this is a close outside of the band, outside of the Bollinger Band, that's a perfect signal for me to get into a trade as well. Because broke down, we retested, just like we did back here. See right here, broke above, tested, right? So, okay, anyways, I wanted to just go forward a little bit, I said, so I could see. So because we had tested that level, and let's see where that level is. Another call. Someone really wants to talk to me. Sorry, distracted. Okay, so that level there, once we broke through, like I said, because we had tested it, once we broke above, the next time we're going to test it, guaranteed it's probably not going to hold. And that level, let me come back here. Let's go back to the daily to get to it quicker. So we drew all these levels based off of highs and lows. So this was the level, remember, that you could just tell, all right, if we've already hit it twice, so if we hit it again, we're going to bust through. So the next major level, and that's off of this high, it's off of this high. If we go back over here, it was a support line over here. So just another level. So we can basically guarantee we're going to test this next high. And that is the 153 level. So because we broke above this support slash resistance level, we can anticipate to go to the next support slash resistance level. And we've already done that since we broke above. That's why my target is that level. Now there's a chance, because of the momentum that we've had in this movement, look how strong that's going up, that we could just bust through and we could go to the next major level, which was this 156 level. But I wouldn't want to, I'm not going to bet on that right now. I'm going to wait until we get up to this 153 level, see what happens, and then make my decision. So let me clear this out, see what's happened so far. And so far, so good. Looking pretty good. Now you can see that the top of my target there is just under, not the exact part of the line. Well, if it is a strong resistance level, then we can anticipate that we may not even get all the way up there, right? Because support and resistance is a range, remember? So like in this example, to see this candlestick, how we broke above, that doesn't invalidate this level as support and resistance just because it didn't hit the line exactly. It's still a resistance level because it's a range, right? So in the same case, there's a potential chance that we may not go all the way up. Also, equally potential chance we go all the way up here, but my target is there. So now, by the way, since we have made some movement upward, in this case, I would want to move my stop loss a lot higher. And what I would do is put it in profit. And I would, since we're above this support resistance line here, what I would want to do is put it below, just below this. So for our trade to be invalidated, now we have to break this, this trend that we have going. And for our trade now to be invalidated and for this to move downward, we would have to break below this, what is now support, right? Was resistance here, came up, we retested it with this one candle. So that is support. So I would put my stop loss, I'm going to move it to this level here, 151.806. And that's one of the best feelings when you make a trade. It's a good positive trade. You get into profit and you move your stop loss up into profit. So it's like no matter what happens, whether it goes up or down, you made money. It's one of the best feelings of trading. I've done that a lot with crypto this last week, so it's been pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna actually go to crypto. I want to analyze Bitcoin really quick just to show you what I see. Um, 60K is being a freaking strong level right now. So it's logical because as soon as 60,000 breaks, basically it's guarantee like we're heading to 80. We're gonna either way. We're heading to 80 or 90. We very well could get some more price sideways price action for days, weeks, whatever. I'm pretty bullish. I'm feeling pretty good. I really feel like we're gonna just keep heading up over the next few days, weeks, and see some up and down movement the whole way. But I am also weary as a trader. I'm just gonna play it safe, gonna calculate my risk. And make sure that I don't get caught, on one side of bias or the other, right? So first of all, if let's analyze the daily. You see this red line here. Sorry, I said analyze the daily, but I'm going to go down to the 4 hour. I drew this red line because we're kind of in this little downtrend here, and so to me that is a trend line. Or support and resistance. It can also be used as support and resistance. In this case, resistance, because every time we touch this line, the price was resisted. And you can see clearly when we add this green line, this support line here, with that, it basically was making a little bit of a wedge. So we know that, well, as soon as and if we break above this, we can anticipate for it to change trend completely. And if you look, we broke above and beautifully, perfectly got that retest here on the 4 hour, and we ended up continuing upward. And also, what kind of told us that this might happen is we finally broke and we closed above the moving average here. And so each one of these, I guess we got some closes here, but we ended up getting rejected and moving downward. So in this case, we broke above, we retested it, and then moved upward. So that right there may not be our entry. See, I would see that retest after drawing this, and that's where I would jump in. And then you kind of wait and you just hold on. You put your stop loss below, put your stop loss where the price action would have to go in order for your trade to be invalidated. But in this case, it would be right under here. But I will say with crypto, it's a little bit more volatile, so I like to do more loose stop losses. But I'm not going to go too much into that right now. But right here, when you get that retest, you get that level that tells you, okay, cool, like here we go, time to jump in. Maybe you want to wait, for some more confirmation. But to me, this is a beautiful retest, and then we end up heading up higher. But you had another entry. So remember, we talked about Bollinger Bands before, and what's one of those like the most perfect entry to jump in a trade is on the bands when the price action, when you're getting a bounce off of this moving average here, especially a buy, whether it's a buy or a sell. So like here, we got a bounce moving downward, plus it was resistance before, right? And we're under the moving average, so it moved down. So yeah, right here, when we get that bounce, we get multiple wicks, and then we get this last candle that is an engulfing candle of the previous. That's beautiful, beautiful entry right here. And then we hold on, and then we put our stop loss below the last low. So, right, we anticipate it to go up. Where does the trade have to go in order for our trade to be invalidated? Or where does the price have to go? And it has to break these lows, because here's the low, and right, we broke trend. So here's a high, right? We came up. Here's a low. Here's another higher high. Here's a higher low, right? So as the price goes up, we make new highs and lows. We can keep moving our stop loss up. So as of right now, it looks like we're trending up, boom, up, boom, up, ideally up. So this is the low. So a good point to put a stop loss is here. If you're in the group, you will have seen that I did analyze this yesterday. Just a little thing with crypto that tends to happen is here's our low, here's our high, here's our lower or higher low, higher high. So based off of that logic, you could look at this once you get a high and you could put your stop loss under here. Well, one thing that happens in crypto, and this isn't as dramatic as what I've seen before, like I'll see sometimes where you get the wick all the way down here. And what that does, because crypto, Bitcoin is getting to that point where it is a lot harder to manipulate. but still easily done in many other cryptocurrencies. Um, because it's been a lot easier to manipulate, what people will do with a lot more money or a lot more coin is they'll push the price up and down to create liquidity. So if they want to get the price lower, or get their buy-in price lower, what they'll do is they'll push it down where they anticipate like people to put their stop losses, and they'll make sure people get stopped out, and maybe some people get their account liquidated because they're trading with too high leverage. And what that does is create liquidity, or it creates coins that are available now on the market. Not that people are buying and holding, but since they got stopped out, they're available. So they can get a lower buy-in price, and then price ends up continuing higher, makes them more money. So this is a strong move. So now, when I mentioned earlier with cryptocurrency, I like to do more loose stop losses. What I would do is wait for, like, if you're doing this kind of like you know getting the retest off of the moving average and you're moving your stop loss below that. I like to wait for like two strong movements. So, for me right now, I have a stop loss here like 54K, and I'm kind of waiting. I'll probably, after we get some more, a couple more 4-hour closes, I'll probably move my stop loss up here. However, this price action currently isn't looking too hot. So you can see here 60K strong resistance, and look what's happening again. We're at 60K. We tested it with this candle, had a strong sell off, and this strong candle here is a good signal, but still, like, it's just every time we touch 60K, it's strong resistance. So we'll see over coming days what happens. Ideally, what I'm anticipating is we bust through and then just keep continuing up. All signs point to that direction. Everybody's talking about Bitcoin. It's also a good time to start selling because the more popular something gets, um, if, yeah, you want to buy something when no one's talking about it. But if everyone's talking about it, it's probably a good time to sell. So that's kind of why I'm anticipating. I mean, Bitcoin definitely should be going to 90K plus, 100K probably this year. Just fundamentals and based off of everyone getting into it. So many funds talking about it. Goldman Sachs talking about getting into it. Chipotle tweeted about it earlier. The Teletubbies, official Teletubbies Twitter account, tweeted about Bitcoin earlier. Mark Cuban's way into Bitcoin. So definitely happening. What I kind of anticipating though, I'm in Bitcoin. I am anticipating it to go up, but what I'm anticipating more and see more upside are, people. Bitcoin is the main cryptocurrency that everyone talks about, and it's because it's the first. What that's going to do is start to shed light on other cryptocurrencies. And so people have also been talking about NFTs and how cool NFTs are, and that's shedding light on the DeFi, on cryptocurrencies. So, what's a better buy are coins like Ethereum, who have better use case than something like Bitcoin. And it looks like we're about to see this resistance line. We're about to bust through. As soon as we bust through 2000, we're going to go straight to 3 pretty quick. Well, anyway, I'm pretty heavy into Ethereum too. Well, there's more upside. Like Bitcoin could double, and that's pretty high. And I would expect a big sell off before 100K. 80, 90,000. So my target's 84. But yeah, you can anticipate a big sell off around that time, and we'll probably get a pretty decent sized bear market, or pretty decent in length bear market around that time as well. So that's only, 100,000 for Bitcoin is less than 2x your money, which is good. You could still make like 40%. However, something like Ethereum over time, I anticipate this to go to like 10,000, and we're struggling to pass 2,000 now. And that's because use case, Visa just announced they're going to start clearing transactions on Ethereum as well. So that's rad. But because of that, I heavily anticipate 10,000. So compare that type of movement, against Bitcoin's 40%, where instead you could probably 3, 4, 5x your money. And it could be by the end of this year, but like I think within the next few months we're going to see some pretty decent upside. So next target for Ethereum is 3,000 at least. They have some updates coming out that's going to make it deflationary. I'm not even going to go into that. It's a whole other thing. But um, it's easy to talk about crypto. I know I'm like kind of getting off on tangents, but it's so imperative right now to be into crypto. Um, Probably 80% of all money that I manage or have access to is invested in crypto right now, and that's because the upside is there. It's crazy, and eventually it will stop. So eventually, let me show you. We're gonna get boom. So see this strong upward movement, right? That's 2017, 2018. Beautiful, right? And how far that moved up is still, we compare that to what we still have yet to experience here, we potentially still have a ton of upside. But look how long, when we peaked to when we crossed that peak again, it took 2017 to 2020. So that took about 3 years, January, December, literally 3 years to get to a point where if you had, messed up and bought the very top, you had to wait 3 years before you're making money again. Still good, but we're gonna have the same thing, this downside, and we're gonna wait for that maximum opportunity to jump in. And so in that case, that was down here. The best opportunity Bitcoin was at literally it hit 3,500 last year, March of last year, literally 1 year ago was under 5,000. So imagine that, 10x your money in 1 year. So, anyways, I'm seeing stuff like that still. Other coins, Ethereum's not the only one I'm in where I anticipate big gains like that. There's coins that are going to do 30, 40, 50x. So finding those, just positioning myself very, very strategically. That's kind of the goal. But anyway, I'm always going to trade Forex. Live streams, I'm always trading Forex, but I like to go where the money is. I like to, watch the money. So anyway, okay, I'm gonna call the coaching session here. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. Please make sure you're in the Discord group. Remember, as a coaching member, you get 3 months free in that group. I'm posting daily trade calls, posting a ton of stuff there. So yeah, I'm stoked about what's happening, what's to come. I'm also very vigilant, watching very carefully, just making sure that there's going to be a point, and it could happen tomorrow. Where the market completely turns around. So just being very, very vigilant with the price action, what's going on, and that's how we're gonna all do well. So, anyways, much love. Keep studying, master your emotions. Takes time, but commit to yourself. Commit to me if you'd like, and I can hold you accountable should you ask. But committing to yourself, especially with this trading lifestyle, like if you become a professional trader, you don't have a boss. So it's just you have to be your boss. So if you had a boss, what would they tell you? What would they want you to do? Right? So anyway, okay. Much love to you guys. I will upload this here in a bit. And oh wait, I had a question. Looks like. Oh no. Okay, cool. Doesn't look like. Okay. Oh, yep. 10 minutes ago. I'm so sorry, Stockton. Are you buying at the same place as your stop loss? Good question. Okay, I'm so sorry. Hopefully you're still on. Yep, Stockton's still on. Okay, let me share really quick. Sorry, that message didn't even come up. Are you buying at the same place as your stop loss? No. So in this case, when I drew the trade out, I lined this up. So this middle line is where I actually purchased. Right here, where it switches from red to green. And this tool is over on the left side in trading view. If you move down, you can hover over. It's got that 3 lines with the circles all over it. That is long position, and you can come over. You can also do a short position. So what I do is the stop loss is just where it needs to go, in order for my trade to be invalidated. And when I calculate this out, you're never going to get that perfect entry. I'm not going to say never, it's possible, but likelihood slim to none. So the from our trading plan, remember we went through the trading calculator, and that's where we calculate out what our potential loss is if we're wrong. And that is where our stop loss is. And we have to know, we have to make that trade, and we have to be completely okay with what that potential loss is. So I didn't see the trade form until up here. Really, it was. See, I'm trying to remember. It was like yesterday, so the actual time and the actual candlestick's harder for me to remember. But anyways, this is the level. So I either got in right here or right here. And yeah, it looks like it was right here. So it was after this. It had to have been this close. Yeah, I think it was this close right here. So that's where I got in, is at that level. But that's not where, I'm not going to put my stop loss at that level. Now, eventually, I will want to move my stop loss up to that break even or, in profit point. But as of this moment, I want to, I want to wait till that happens. I can do that now, by the way, because we've moved up above the entry, pretty well above it, right? So definitely a smart thing to do would be to jump in, to move our stop loss up to a point where, um, we're in profit. But yeah, stop loss isn't your entry. It is just where the trade has to go for your decision or for your analysis to be invalidated. Um, Hopefully that makes sense. Sorry I didn't see it so right away. I'm glad I saw it later on though. Yeah. So the way I trade personally is when I see the setup, I'll just market buy personally, because I see it set up and I'm just like, okay, let me get in now. Because you may have seen with through videos or through me showing that you can do limit orders, which is where you set the point for the price, where it's like, okay, so let's say the price moves up to here, and you're gonna set it to where, okay, if it moves back down a little bit, then I'll jump in. Or you can do market buy, where you just jump in right away. That's what I do personally. And I know enough to know, like, no matter where I get in, if I'm within, even though, like, I may have gotten right here and we did move lower, and ideally I could have gotten in a little bit lower of a price. To me, it doesn't matter overall. The little bit that I could have made versus what is still happening. Yeah. So yeah, I'll just, when I see the trade set up, jump in. But anyway, okay, that was the only question as of now. So like I said, I'll upload this. Much love to you guys. Much love to everybody. Please let me know if I could do anything for you. I am here for that. And yeah, we'll talk soon next week. See you guys.